Hey everyone, I hope you're doing so well. It's been entirely way too long since I last filmed a video. So today I've decided to come to you with one that I've been wanting to do for a long time. It is a look based on Nicki Minaj's new Super Bass video, and I think it's the third look that she wears in the video where she's in that pink pool. I love the bright, vibrant colors. The one thing that I did do is tweak it here and there to make it a little bit suitable for my skin tone. So it does involve lots of yellow, green, and blue, as well as pink, as you can see. Please stay tuned for how to do this look. All right, so let's get started. I've already primed my upper lid as well as my lower lash line with Too Faced Shadow Insurance, and that's because we will be putting product on the lower lash line as well as the upper lid. The first thing I'm going to do is prime my lid with a white cream product, which this one is MAC Chromaline in Pure White. What this is going to do is help make the colors as vibrant as possible on your skin. I recommend patting this on the lid all the way up to the brow, but concentrate more of this color on your upper lid, and then just go right along the lower lash line with it too, just very little. Okay, as I mentioned earlier in this video, I said that I'm going to be adapting this look a little bit so that it's a little bit more suitable on my skin tone. One of the things that I'm adapting a little is that I'm going to use a yellow eyeshadow with a little bit more of a shimmer to it so it's not as harsh looking. I know the yellow is harsh anyways, but the yellow that I'm using has a little bit of a satiny shimmer finish, and it gives a little bit more dimension to the color as well. This specific yellow I'm using, it's right here, and it is from the Shiseido palette YE406. So what I'll do is I'll use my flat shader brush one side and make sure it's clean, and pat the brush right into the color. And tap off the excess. And then what you're going to do is transfer this onto your lid, focusing most of the color on the inner third of your lid, not going past the crease, and make sure you place it right into the inner corner of your eye. Okay, once you've got as much concentration of this yellow color as you want on the inner third of the lid, what I'm going to do, what you should do, and what I'm going to do is bring out the leftover yellow to the rest of the lid, and this is just to help out with blending a little more. In the video, it doesn't really look like they brought the yellow out. I might be wrong, but for me, I find that this will help blur any lines between the colors, and it'll just help with blending. Also, just make sure you're just going into the inner corner without going past the crease, and that it's nicely shaded right around the tear duct area. Once you've got the yellow placed all over the lid the way you want it to look, we'll move on to the green. And what I'm going to be using is an eyeshadow trio palette from the NARS Summer Collection 2011. It's an amazing palette and it's got some beautiful colors in it. This palette is called Cap Ferrat, and I'll be using the pale sort of sea foam green that's in the middle, and it will be with the other side of the flat shader brush that I used. As I did in the last step, I'm just going to pat the brush right into the green and transfer this onto my lid, starting right around the 1/3 mark of my inner lid, and bring it out. Okay, so as you can see, I've got the outer 2/3 covered with this green color, and you can see somewhat of a harsh line right here. And we're just going to blur that. We're going to flip back to the yellow side of this brush and just blur the line back and forth by just rubbing the brush right across that line. And this is just going to help with blending a little more. And what you can do is add more green if you'd like. I'm going to add a little bit more, but just repeat the same steps over to make sure that you've blended the colors out nicely. Okay, now that I've got as much green as I wanted on my lid, this I think is another additional step to what was used in the look. I'm just cleaning off this brush. That's why I'm looking away. But this is an additional step. I'm actually going to add a little bit of blue to the outer corner of my eye, and we're just going to focus that right here, just probably the outer quarter. And I'm going to use another flat shader brush. If you don't have another one, just clean off the one you were using before. And the blue I'll be using is from this same Ferrat palette, and I'll just pat the brush right into there. You don't need to pick too much up. And then just transfer this to the outer 1/4 of your eyelid and bring it a little ways into the crease. And again, we're going to blend back and forth between the green and the blue to make sure we blur the lines a little bit. And there we have it. I just covered the outer V, probably about the outer 1/4 of my eyelid, and just made sure that I blended it as much as possible. And this is just going to add a little bit more dimension to this look. Next, I'm going to go ahead and blend out the crease. But what I'm going to do is do a mixture of 3 colors. The first one is a nude color from the Urban Decay Naked palette, and the color is actually called Naked. And what I'll do is I will dip my brush into the yellow a little bit of the Shiseido palette, and there's a green in the Shiseido palette as well, so I'm going to just tap it right in there, and this is just to help with blending. And I'll pick up more of this I'll pick up more of the Naked color onto the brush so that we can blur the lines out a little bit more. Tap off the excess, and then blend this color right into the crease and right along the line that you created from all the colors you put on your lid. This is just going to blur it out a little more and not make the lines look so harsh. As a next step, I'm going to use the same Seafoam Green from the NARS palette that I used here, and my flat short stiff shading brush. We're going to bring this color right along the entire lower lash line and make it a little thicker than you usually would. In the video you can see she's got quite a prominent line under her eyes. So we're just going to stamp this right along the lash line and meet it with the color that we have on our upper lid. Okay, now I'm done with all the colorful eyeshadow. The next 2 steps look like they're a little bit extra to what we see in the video. The first of which is a highlight color in the inner tear duct area as well as right under the brow. And what I'm going to use is MAC Magically Cool Liquid Powder in Truth and Light. These are new to MAC, and I actually bought all the 3 colors that they released because it's a very interesting formula. I'll do a haul, I think, in the next video of all my latest buys from MAC, so I can talk to you about my opinion on the product. Now what I'm going to do first is place a little bit of this color right into the inner corner. It won't change much of the color that's already placed there. It'll just bring a little bit of light into that area. I'm also going to place this right underneath my brow. Next, because I feel that this line underneath seems to be a little bit stark on my skin tone, I'm actually going to line right underneath my lash line with a little bit of a black pencil liner, and in this case I'm using a MAC's Eye Kohl in Smolder, and I'm just going to draw a couple of, I'm just going to dot the liner right underneath my lash line all the way across very lightly. And then what I'm going to do is take an angled liner brush. This one's a very fine tipped angled liner brush, and I'm just going to smudge it right along that black line that I placed there just to bring a little bit more definition back to my lower lash line. Just make sure you don't lose that green that's on your lower lash line. If you do, feel free to add a little bit more. Okay, now I'm going to go on to my Revlon Color Stay Liquid Liner in Berry Black. or sorry, not in Very Black, in Blackest Black. It's been way too long since I've done a tutorial when I'm forgetting the name of my eyeliner. And then I'm going to apply a heavy coat of mascara to my upper lashes and a light coat to my lower lashes. This is my CoverGirl Lash Blast Fusion in Very Black. The reason I'm using a thick coat on my upper lashes is because I'm opting not to put the crazy dramatic false lashes that Nicki Minaj is wearing in her video. So instead, I'm just going to put a lot more mascara than I normally would. Okay, with my mascara complete, we'll now move on to blush and highlight. First, I'm going to apply my highlight, which in this case is actually the same powder that I used, the Magically Cool liquid powder in Truth and Light that I used as my highlight on my brow bone and the inner corner. Let's just find a brush here. I'm going to use a fluffy powder brush and apply this just to the backs of my cheeks, brow bone, bridge of my nose, chin, and Cupid's bow. Nicki Minaj has such a luminous, like, flawless skin in this look, so I just want to make sure that I emulate that as much as possible. Now, it doesn't look like she's wearing too much blush in this look, but to me it looks like she is, and it isn't so much on the apples of the cheek as it is closer to the back part of the cheekbone. So for this, I'm going to use almost a bubble gum pink color, which kind of is her signature look. She may be using a little bit of a different shade, but I'm going to go ahead and use this one and my NARS Kabuki brush for applying. And we'll just apply this to the backs of our cheek. Now, I don't think I mentioned it earlier, but this particular blush is MAC Mineralize blush in Gentle. Next, I'm going to go ahead and apply a vibrant pink that's as close as possible to the color that she's wearing, and this will combine a couple of items, starting with a lip liner. This is Makeup Forever lip liner, Aqua Lip in 10C. The lipstick that I will be wearing is Viva Glam Gaga by MAC. And I will top that all off with a lip glass by MAC called Pink Poodle. Okay, and with my lip color applied, I realize it may not match the video exactly, but I am completed with this look. I hope you had as much fun watching this tutorial as I had filming it. This one is inspired by Nicki Minaj's Super Bass video. Forgot. My mind's all over the place. Anyways, please stay tuned for plenty more to come, including my next giveaway announcement and my Look for Less video that I've been promising you for a while now. I truly hope you enjoyed once again and have a fabulous day.